Subchapter 6.3 How to Make a Risk Opportunity Assessment. Now let's proceed and see in detail how the risk opportunity assessment has to be made. This is a quite practical subchapter, so after a very brief introduction, you will see the pencil and wrench symbol on top. Our starting point in this lesson is uncertainty. The future is not written yet. There is no such thing as a crystal sphere that makes us know exactly what the future will be. This uncertainty could have two types of effects on your company. It could have a negative effect, in this case, we call it risk, or it could have a positive effect. In this case, we call it opportunity. So, what should we do? Should we avoid all risks and opportunities? Absolutely not. A healthy organization makes evaluations of its risks and its opportunities. This helps them in planning the right strategies to prevent them and face them. That's why, in our scheme, you may see that from risk has an arrow that leads to risk evaluation, and opportunity has an arrow that leads to opportunity evaluation. In the following chapters, we will learn to make risk evaluations and opportunity evaluations according to what the 45,001 standard says. One final note before going forward. So far, in this course, we almost entirely talked about hazards and risks. In other words, we just thought of negative aspects of uncertainty. The reason why is quite simple. It's easier for us to do so. Thinking about something that could go wrong is more intuitive than thinking about something that could go well. Nevertheless, the 45,001 standard asks us to take some extra steps and think about both risks and opportunities. How to make a risk opportunity assessment? The standard asks for a standardized way of evaluating risks and opportunities. This means that we have to come out with a defined set of rules to do it, and just follow them. During the 45,001 audit, the auditor will check if your rules make sense, and he will see if you applied them correctly. Most companies have a simple set of rules like this. 1. Write risks and opportunities. For each relevant interested party, write at least one risk or one opportunity. 2. Evaluation. Then, for each risk opportunity, make a probability impact evaluation. This is the best way to weigh them. 3. Plan improvement actions. And finally, use the evaluation that you made at point 2 to decide if your organization has to do something to avoid the risk or catch the opportunity. Let's see these steps in detail, focusing just on risks for now. The first rule could be summarized in write risks, opportunities. What does it mean? For each relevant interested party and for each relevant internal or external issue, write at least one risk or one opportunity. This rule is a direct reference to our context analysis document, so we have to go back to what we said while preparing it in Chapter 4. So, a quick recap of our context analysis could be useful. In our context analysis, we made a list of all the interested parties and all the internal and external issues that we could think of. For all of them, we made some evaluations. We asked ourselves, how much do we think they influence our OHS? Or how much our company does affect their OHS? If there is a mutual influence, we state that it is relevant. If not, we state that it is not relevant. Now the new part. The standard asks us to come up with a risk and/or with an opportunity for each one that we classified as relevant. In this slide, ABC is considered relevant, therefore we come out with item number 1, which is a risk. DEF is considered relevant, therefore we come out with item number 2, which is a risk. LMN is considered relevant, therefore we come out with item number 3, which is an opportunity. You may ask, when is an opportunity needed? When is a risk needed? It depends on the interested party and on the internal-external issues. Some of them may lead more naturally to a risk. Some of them may lead more readily to an opportunity. What matters is that overall, your risk opportunity assessment is made, well, considering both risks and opportunities. Now let's try to talk about something more concrete. No more A, B, C, and D, E, F. Let's make some examples of risks and opportunities. We already saw one example of an interested party, workers, and an example of an internal issue, procedures, instructions, guidelines. And finally, let's add an external issue, market competition. As for the risks related to them, we have written them in the description column. For workers, one risk could be unsafe practice by contractors could create unsafe conditions for the company's workers. For procedures, instructions, guidelines, one risk could be not all workers can properly access to the needed procedures since the company only uses the digital copy. And for market competition, we can think of something positive, an opportunity. If competitors use a new safety technique, the company could learn from them and implement it as well. So far, we just had to come out with hypothetical risks and opportunities. But thinking about risks and opportunities is not enough. Now we have to decide what risks and what opportunities need our attention and what don't. This could be done through the second rule, evaluation. The rule that we wrote was, for each risk opportunity, make a probability impact evaluation. There is not just one way to evaluate risks, but here we will see the most common, the probability and impact matrix. Probability and impact matrix is a tool for the project team to aid in prioritizing risks and opportunities. What do we mean by prioritizing? We mean that we have to find some way to find those who need more attention, more time, more resources. As its name says, this method works by giving to each risk opportunity a probability value and an impact. For risks, it works this way. Probability. The probability value answers to the question, how likely is it to happen? For now, let's make a scale that goes from 1 to 3. Impact. The impact value answer to the question, if it happens, how bad is it for my company? Same here. Let's make a scale that goes from 1 to 3. Final calculation. Level of risk opportunity. After you gave to each risk opportunity these values, you can give to each an overall value of level of risk opportunity, which can be obtained through a simple calculation. The level of risk is equal to probability of the risk times the impact of the risk. Before jumping to some examples, it's better to elaborate more on these concepts. How do we assign these probability and impact values? You have different ways to do it. The most effective is to choose a set of questions that may help you to access the right values. For the probability value, you have to ask yourself, has this ever happened before? If yes, high value. If not, low value. Can my company manage this event? Is it entirely on my company without other companies or other people having some influence on it? If yes, low value. If not, high value. Is this event already taken care of by my management system? In other words, is my company already taking care of it? If yes, low value. If not, high value. Usually, auditors like very much when companies have some rational, fixed way to think about probabilities. The more your methodology is fixed, the better. For the impact matrix, the same principle applies. Try to pick some fixed questions and always ask yourself more or less the same questions. They could be the following. Could this event lead to a severe injury? Could this event lead to death? Could this event have a negative influence to other aspects of my company, such as the environment? Or could it lead to quality issues? And now, we can use the third rule of the risk opportunity assessment. Plan improvement actions. The probability impact evaluation rank determines a specific set of actions by the company. We have to make a correlation between the level of risk, opportunity, and the improvement actions that your company has to do. A good probability and impact matrix states exactly what has to be done for every level of risk opportunity. It could be the following. Level of risk of 1 or 2. It's all okay, no need to improve. Level of risk of 4. Some attention is needed. The organization checks the situation through audits and through checking indicators. Level of risk of 6. The organization puts in place improvement actions in the medium term. Level of risk of 9. The organization puts in place immediate improvement actions.